So let's look at belief and conviction like a bank account. You develop conviction by depositing. And what are we depositing? Accuracy. You said you were going to call and make 100 dials today. Did you do it? I didn't make 100 dials today. Is it really about the 100 dials? No. It's about doing the thing that you say you're going to do. You have a lack of conviction and lack of belief because you have a lack of consistency in your life. You have been lying to yourself. So stop damaging who you are and just say, you know what? I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to save money. I don't want to grow and scale a business because I won't pay the cost.
Hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Josh Alltop.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Please help me welcome Josh with Business Strategies and Tactics.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
My name is Josh Alltop. I have a business called the Sales League. I started that business with my business partner, Jake Grant. We started this, we've been probably doing this for about 5 years now. But we live in kind of Nashville, Franklin, to be exact, Tennessee. And I'm married, about to celebrate 13 years. I got two amazing kids, both 11. We have a biological son and an adopted daughter from Kampala, Uganda. We thought it would be the smart idea to get married, have a kid, buy a house, and start an adoption overseas, all within the same year. So we're really excited about that. And so far, so good. And, we kind of just got into this space. I went from a 25-year music career to literally overnight. So I say this, I went from making records to breaking records. And people are always like, how did you do that? How did you go from being a music producer, a drummer, traveling the world, doing these things to just cold turkey into sales? It really came down to, I had a great friend, his name's Taylor Welch, and he said, hey, what are you doing with your life? And I said, I'm making beats and, I'm going to make a song and it's going to be perfect for everybody. And he was like, yeah, but what are you doing with your life? I was like, I've done music my whole life. And, I made all right money. I'd average anywhere between, 100, 150K a year for a musician. It wasn't bad money. It's not great, but at the time. But I learned very quickly in about an hour conversation that I had no control over what I was actually going to accomplish and what I was going to do in my life. Everything that I did had about 8 to 9 different people who could determine whether or not my work effort would be rewarded with money. There would be that transaction in the proper way. And I said, you know what? I don't think I like that. I think I would like something else. So he said, why don't you come sell for me? I said, I don't know how to do sales. I'm a musician. And he said, you have been selling your whole life. You don't even realize it. I said, okay. So I took the job offer on a Thursday. It was right at the beginning of 2020 when everything was locked down. All I had to do was take a call. I said, great. I'm not doing writes right now. I'll take a phone call. Hopped on, took a phone call. I think I closed $12,000 my first week. Never took a sales call, never had a plaque, a degree, no training. It was just, I had such a level and belief of conviction that this person had an amazing car, house, thought he was a good dad, good husband. I was like, surely he knows what he's doing. All I got to do is tell these people that he knows what he's doing and I should get paid. I was like, seems simple enough. Come to find out, sales is actually extremely simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. So then I started, I think I made 12 grand that first month. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. You're gonna pay me 12 grand to talk on the phone to tell these other people to give me money? I was like, I'll do that. Next month, I think I made 15, 18, 20, never dropped below 20, just started crushing, was averaging $30,000 to $50,000 a month in my first year. My first year, I think I closed over $6 million, something like that. I mean, I don't want, the FTC coming after me, so I don't know specifically, but I made very good money for having zero talent and skill set, but I had belief and I had conviction. Well, then I quickly learned, oh, wait, I have been selling my whole life. Every time I needed a gig, every time I wanted a job. I wasn't the greatest drummer, but you know what I would do as a drummer? I would sell merch. I would shuttle people around. I'd advance the show. I'd do anything that I could if it made that I showed my value to you of why you should allow me to be a part of this moment, this
Yeah.
song, whatever.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of those things and I learned very quickly. I love sales. I was just producing records, but now I'm producing people and I'm showing them. So then that turned into, I've always been teaching, was a band director, music director. So I've always taught. And then I just was like, oh, wait, I should teach other people how to have control. I will
Mm.
teach them how to solve problems, which is how we view sales. I will teach them to solve problems. And then from there, they'll have the ability to make it however much money they want to make. Because if you could solve problems, you can run a business, you can be an entrepreneur, you
Yeah.
can launch something, you can do anything you want. You just have
Yeah.
to solve problems, find a need, fill a need.
Yeah.
So then that turned into how Jake and I, we worked together at that company. We started our own basically consulting company. And then it's now turned into, we are a full on out sales training, sales fractional management company where we
Yeah.
come into your business, we get into the nitty gritty of what's going on, and we help a business either cash flow, making sure that business owner can make money without having to be there, or we help businesses cash out, meaning we show them how to basically create their business, grow it so that they can then set up to actually do an exit.
What exactly were you selling in the beginning?
Yeah, great question. So I was selling business consulting and coaching. So
Okay.
we kind of help small to medium-sized businesses grow and scale. We taught them how to build out their offer, their packaging, their messaging. We taught them how to do sales, how to do organic marketing. A lot of times what I've noticed when you talk to a business owner and they're like, "Oh, I can't solve this problem." It's like, "No, it's not that you can't solve this problem. It's just that you haven't figured out how to pull yourself, detach, rise above the problem, and actually assess your surroundings." I think
Mm.
Jocko talks about that in his leadership book on strategies and tactics. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
green
Yeah.
one.
Uh-huh.
And which I'm sorry if I'm messing up the name. And Jocko, you ever watch his podcast? I apologize, but it's a phenomenal book. And he talks about his ability to detach and then rise above and actually look at, all right, well, what's really going on here? And so for me, I think that's kind of what I've noticed when I was selling that. I was like, oh, we're just helping business owners, do that. And so it was great. Oh yeah, you got it. Come on.
That's it. Yeah.
It's so good.
I love this thing. I love it. I love it. What was it that made you successful right out of the gate? Like you said, you didn't have any experience. And what should the listeners know about that today?
I love this question. There is no magic pill. There is no nothing. What I had was a relentless pursuit of it had to work.
Mm.
I think we need people to get back to that. This has to work come hell or high water, no matter what. This has to work. Now, let's talk about what that really means. I teach what I had at the beginning of why I had success was these two things: belief and conviction. What is belief? Belief is the story that we tell ourselves day in, day out. If I say it is raining today, I open up the window, I look outside, I say, okay, it's raining. I therefore now believe that it is raining outside.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a good form of belief. You have to believe that. You have to believe who you are, and you have to believe in the product, good, or service that you're selling.
Mm.
Now, I'm going to get into something else later. Okay. But for now, let's look at belief like that. We define belief as the stories that we are telling ourselves.
Yeah.
It is that thing that we know. Now, let's look at conviction. Conviction is just a deeper seated form of belief. Okay. It's raining outside. I see that it's raining outside, but everybody, my kids, my wife, everybody says it's not raining. You do not need an umbrella. Let's say it's not even raining yet, but I know that it will rain. I have such a belief that it will rain, and everyone says you don't need an umbrella. Don't take an umbrella. It's a bad idea. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
And I say, despite what everyone has said or believes, I know that deep inside of me, it will rain today.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will prepare and I will take this umbrella.
Yeah.
If people would embody that, if you're a business owner right now, a sales professional, heck, if you are just a human being and you have to communicate some point to somebody at any time, think about that. If you would just communicate from a place of conviction.
Yeah.
Think about the last time somebody said, you've got to try this pizza place out. And you're just like, I've had 1,000 pizzas. Why would I try this place? No, this one's different. Well, everyone says that they're different. No, I am telling you, it's in the oven.
Yeah.
See, I've never seen an oven like this. You know, they
Yeah.
have a filtration system that actually comes from New York City, and this is out like in New Mexico or something, and it filters the water so it has the same minerals that are inside of New York. That's why the dough has what it does, and then it's the way that the oven. You see how I'm talking about you right now? You
Yeah.
think this pizza place exists. It's real. My point is, think about everything else that you do in your life.
Yeah.
If you could speak from this level of conviction. The problem is we lose heart. We
Mm.
lose hope. Let's say you're in business and all of a sudden you got a chargeback, a refund. All of a sudden client A is mad and you thought things are going well and employee so and so is, biting your ear off and yada yada. And all of a sudden you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I even here? And then you got to get on the phone. Say you're a sales pro. I mean, let's be honest. If you're doing under 5 million, you're probably still involved in sales at some point, some
Yeah.
degree, right?
Yeah.
And so then you get on the phone and in your subconscious, you're like, can we help people? Even though you might say it, because why? Belief is caught, not taught. So if belief is
Mm.
caught, not taught, then we project that which we believe to be true onto our prospects.
Yeah.
And that determines. So when I look at my success, Cedric, my success is based off of my ability. I had to borrow belief and conviction of that which I was selling for because I didn't have any talent. I didn't have any skill set. I didn't even know what we really sold.
Yeah.
I just knew he said, do this, read this, it should work. I was like, all right, man,
Yeah.
you have a Porsche 911 GT. I'm like, it's gotta be true, right? Like, I was just like, why not? But then over time, I was like, okay, because I had to learn once you get past borrowing someone else's belief and conviction, now you got to
Yeah.
have your own.
That's
And then
it.
yours gets a little chink in the armor. You have to
Yeah.
learn how to re-level up that, which is
Yeah.
what we train inside the sales league. So let's look at belief and conviction like a bank account. You develop conviction by depositing. If we would spend more time depositing, and what are we depositing? That's the obvious next question, right? Accuracy. Okay. Well, what does that mean? You said you were going to call and make 100 dials today. Did you do it? No. Why? Reflect and project. Reflect and project. I didn't make 100 dials today. Is it really about the 100 dials? No. It's about doing the thing that you say you're going to do. So you actually build conviction through my favorite word, consistency. You have a lack of conviction and lack of belief because you have a lack of consistency in your life. You have been lying to yourself. Power comes from self-honesty. I try to
Mm.
tell people, you might as well stop saying you want that because you are doing more damage being a liar than you are and living a counterfeit than you are
Mm.
to just be truthful.
Absolutely.
So stop damaging who you are and just say, you know what? I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to save money. I don't want to grow and scale a business because I won't pay the cost of that which it required.
Yeah.
You must pay the cost to acquire that which you desire.
Knowledge bomb. That's good. People oftentimes, majority actually, I mean, it's really weird. They have this big dream, but there's no follow through with the dream, and then it's on to the next dream. And it's like that sense of getting something new, it feels good, and then it's like I don't want to do the work here, but I just keep jumping from thing to thing. Have you ever in your coaching and mentoring aspect, have you ever ran across that? And when you ran across it, what type of message did you give to that individual? Were you able to help them, or you told them to come back when they're ready?
Yeah. So what I like to say to people is it's the same thing I do in a sales call. Where are you at? Where do you want to be? Most prospects, when they come in, most business owners, entrepreneurs, everybody's at the exact same phase. They believe that A is here, right? Which is where they're at. And if you're watching this podcast, hopefully you're watching it, you'll see this visual. If you're not watching it, just imagine my big hands in the middle of a screen. So you got A here, and they believe that their B is actually here. So what I do is I ask questions to widen the gap. Because what I need them to realize is to get from point A to point B, there is a bridge that must take place to get you from A to B. Now, if this is a sales call, I believe that my solution, the invitation that I'm going to present to you, is that solution to get you from point A to B. But I'm going to widen that gap. Why is that? Because I want you to realize if you could have done this on your own, sweetheart, you would have. Hey, big dog, if you think that you could have crushed this goal and just knocked it all out on your own, then you would have already.
Yeah.
The reality is somebody needs to hear the dang truth. And they
Yeah.
need to accept it because once you are confronted with the truth and the facts, then you can say, okay, do I actually want the very thing that I say that I want? And now
Yeah.
Now we can have a vulnerable conversation. Okay, if you really do, then help me understand why, when it is time to pay up, you don't. And I
Yeah.
don't mean money, by the way. Yesterday, I probably went 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I mean, back to back to back. It's one of those days you're like, did I eat? Did I go to the restroom? What happened? And
Yeah.
you can see your calendar tells you what you did, but you're still just in fog. After taking my daughter to this like American Heritage Girls, and then I take my son, and then I still had to take them and still find a way to hit the gym. Why?
Mm.
Because either I want this or I don't. But if I won't do what is required of me when it's time to pay the piper, which is to change my clothes, put my shoes on, walk my happy tail inside of that building,
Yeah.
then I don't actually want what I say that I want unless I do that which is required of me. So
Mm.
when I speak with people, if you're listening right now, you might be saying, well, every time I've got all these great ideas. I'm so sorry. Ideas will not pay your bills.
Mm.
Execution of ideas will pay your bills. Everybody has idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Actually, you know how many people have sometimes the same idea? It's just the first one to market.
Yeah.
You could have an idea later after somebody has already gone to market and to just do it better and still beat them.
Yeah.
The reality is execution will always win and always trump vision.
Mm.
Vision is needed. Mission is needed. We have a mission and a vision so big here at the Sales League. It literally to build wealth, empower leaders, unite families, and create free thinking environments. That has nothing to do with sales, really. Why? Our mission is so much greater because our vision is so massive.
Mm.
So when you're talking to entrepreneurs, anybody who has a desire and a dream to succeed and they want to actually achieve greatness, will you find me one example of anybody in the history of civilization that achieved greatness without paying the cost, without going through hell, without failing, without falling, stumbling, messing up, looking silly, stepping out of their comfort zone?
Josh, what about this? Because there's people that's doing the work and they understand the work and they know the work is necessary. But then you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you go on the little clips, and they talk about this quick money, how you can get rich in 1 month. Individuals say this is possible and this is the way it gets done. So it seems like, I mean, right now, 2024, I mean, we're talking about somebody out of high school, someone young that's seeing this. They're seeing it doesn't take work to do this. And then when they get something and they see it's a little work, they like, I must be doing the wrong thing. I want you to talk to that individual because that's a lot of individuals right now that's saying everything opposite of what you're saying right now. That's someone saying you don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I've had a client a while ago who made millions on Amazon and they were good at it. And then they presented their offers and their ideas on social media as if it was easy. Hey, just do this. Hey, just do this. I think, if to be fair to the social media gurus, which maybe I shouldn't be, but let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes when you have a revelation of something, it becomes simple, but not easy. And what is conveyed is easy because they're trying to say, yeah, you just do this, but they have forgotten what it was like at the bottom of the mountain. And now they're at the top of the mountain. Sometimes we forget what it takes. If I went and I had an opportunity to go and talk with Jack Welch, right? Great legend, Jack Welch.
Yeah.
And I said at his prime over GE, and I said, great. So, what's it like again? What's the onboarding process for a janitor? He's going to be like, I have no idea.
Absolutely.
But didn't he start by doing that?
Yeah.
It's a capacity thing. You start growing. And so now your focus and your attention has to be on these other things. I think what I wish people and what we are trying to do, I can't talk about anybody else. What we are trying to do is convey this message. It is not easy at all, but it is simple. Now, the question that everybody that looks on social media, when they see, oh, I just got to do this, their question shouldn't just be, oh, I should do this. It should be, great. What are the exact steps that I need to take to do those things? And then they need to find alignment with somebody that says, can you teach me that skill set so I can learn from your experience and leverage it as wisdom, as opposed to stumbling and fumbling through my own experience. The problem that we have now is the next caveat. Just because you hired, paid, invested in somebody to teach you these skill sets, do not get it twisted that this will still not have hard work attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing great exists without hard work and effort.
Yeah.
You're not going to find it. Just tell if somebody can find it, you're probably the smartest human being that ever walked the face of this earth. But a tree in the redwoods, they don't grow to all that height because it was easy.
Yeah.
There's hard work. There's
Yeah.
toil. There's storms that they have to fight through. Why do you think they dig such deep roots?
Yeah.
Because they have to be prepared for that which is going to come and hit them come hell or high water. So
Yeah.
now that you know it's going to be a challenge, now you're saying, great, all the cards are on the table. So now am I going to step up? So when
Yeah.
you're looking and you're talking to that person that you're talking about, Cedric, and you say to them, is this real? Yes, you can have success. Yes, you can be wealthy. Yes, there is an abundance. Yes, there is more money than you probably could even imagine available.
Yeah.
But it does not come easy, and it is not given to you, and it is not put on a silver platter.
Yeah.
It is done through repetition, consistency. It is done by being 1% better every day. You're not going to master something overnight. You're going to master it through repetition and being consistent. From there, I believe the right feelings follow the right actions, meaning if I focus on lead indicators and I do that which is required of me today, I trust the process that over time, through experience, knowledge, growing, and learning, I will adjust my course to properly achieve that which I desire.
Thank you for clearing that up for now, because that's someone right now needed to hear that. Oh, in the midst of talking about the sales lead, it's not just you, Josh. You have Jake that's working with you. Is it a reason why? Because why you didn't do this solo, and you got a partner to come along with you with
Yeah.
this, or what was the story behind that?
Oh man, to be honest with you, I'm not smart enough or talented enough to do it solo. One thing that I learned in the music industry is I would rather have 25% of the watermelon than 100% of the grape. I
Mm.
love collaboration. The music industry taught me as a producer, as a drummer, how you don't sound that dope by yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you got your Tony Roysters and your Buddy Riches and your Dennis Chambers, and you have some of these guys that could figure out a way to make it just dope. But let's be honest, I want a melody, I want a hook, I want
Absolutely.
a vocal, I want an
Yeah.
MC, I want somebody to drop some knowledge on me so I can hear it in the completion of the whole entire art piece, right?
Yeah.
What I learned in the music industry was like, wait, if I try to do this on my own, I might be able to accomplish some of these. But if I partner up with somebody, how much farther could we go?
It's so many things you've said already, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's why I can't get the weight off, because I'm not doing this. And
Yeah.
man, you just gave me the solution, the solution for the problem. So I appreciate you personally for this. I want to do something before we get off today, because I know in all of this, in this whole spectrum of entrepreneurship, leadership is very important. So I want to ask you, what are some practical leadership strategies, growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
When I look back on moments where I felt like I was truly led, it reminds me of a time, honestly, this is going to be a funny story I've never shared publicly. So, hey, here we go. How about that? I had a falling out with my parents. I was in high school. I was a little jerk. I was a punk rock kid, musician trying to travel the world. I didn't know anything. Whatever. And I had run away from home. I don't know why I did that. It was so dumb of me, but I did. So I was kind of homeless for a little bit. And this was kind of during my senior year of high school. And one of my favorite moments was the way my father led me. Now, I had issues with him, but it was in the moment where he truly showed me his leadership and his love for me, because we met up for a meal. I met him at a restaurant, and then he was going to take me back. I was staying with a friend. He was going to take me back to the house. You know what he did? He didn't take me back to that person's house. He just drove me home. When we got to the house, he said, hey, dinner will be ready in a couple hours. Take your stuff into your room. Calm, gentle, just like that.
Yeah.
And I was back home. And I look at that moment, I ask myself, how can we lead people in such a way where despite what they want, we will serve them and do what's best for them? We will say what needs to be said, and we will do what needs to be done. See, my father, there were times where, he had to discipline me, but he was still being gentle because it was the amount of pressure needed in the moment. And And in that moment, his gentleness was a firm voice that said, this is your moment. Get out of the car. Dinner will be ready. No yelling, no screaming, no, you're coming home. It was the amount of pressure needed in that moment. That's how I define gentleness.
Wow.
So for me, when we lead as business owners, as husbands, wives, sons, daughters, whatever you are, you're influencing whether you accept it or not.
Yeah.
If you accept your influence, then you can lead, because you're not leading if no one's following. So I think for leadership, you have to look and you have to turn around and look and say, are we doing this or am I doing this? Because if we are not doing this and you're not actively listening to your people, understanding where they're coming from, hearing them, even when you know they're dead wrong, but you allow them to be heard, seen. You know what? There's a lot you can do in business. We don't have to be staunch and cold and a bunch of jerks. We actually can, I don't know, try being good humans. What if we did that? But I think when you are leading, the thing I would tell people, serve your people. Serve those below you. The ancient text says that, if you do it for the least of these, you do it unto me. So what if we just embodied that and we just said, hey, you know what? The choice that I make today, it might not, I don't know if it's the best choice for top line or bottom line or whatever. But what if it's best for the team and the employees? Okay. Maybe you can do it. Maybe you can't. What if what's best for the employees is creating a new structure and a system and you stop acting chaotic? What if it's best for your team to lead them is for you to assess where you're at as a leader and see where you have blind spots and open to those blind spots? Maybe if we preferred others, what we could see is a shift and a transformation that we're looking for. Maybe.
Josh, this is amazing. This is what I want to do right now because, man, you're the information, the knowledge you just dropped on us on the podcast on today on this interview. I mean, it's just so valuable, right? And that's somebody right now that said, man, you know what? How can I connect with this guy? This guy is great. This guy got a lot of information. I want you to, if someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest, you can literally hit me up on Instagram. I actually respond to everything, but it's just at Josh Alltop, JoshAlltop, or you can go to thesalesleague.com, thesalesleague.com. It's pretty simple, but here's what I tell people. If you're a business owner and you're still involved in sales of any capacity and you just want to get better, you want to be around like-minded people. We say this, the great Abraham Lincoln once said, if I got 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. So we have a statement that says, stay sharp. At all times, stay sharp, because you never know what opportunity you might have. You could be in a grocery store and someone's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, I actually helped do that. Would you be open to having a conversation? The amount of times I've closed business deals talking to somebody at a restaurant or in line at a concert or whatever. I mean, it's just bonkers. So please hit us up. Hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, doesn't really matter, but reach out. And if you wanted to email in, you could email info@thesalesleague.com. Again, that's just info@thesalesleague. But we'd love to support and help. And if you're a business and you're trying to say, hey, we want to grow, we want to scale, we want to solve our sales systems problems. We want help finding great talent, training great talent, and keeping great talent. We would be honored to have a chat with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
having me.
Oh, man. And thank you for dropping these knowledge bombs right here on the Lead to Greatness podcast. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.